Hey soldiers, you will not believe who is interested in joining the BRICS. Of course, that's the Economic Cooperation Organization, headlined by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa for now. But Saudi Arabia looks like they'll be joining soon. And 18 other countries have said, you know what? This looks like an alternative to what the U.S. is over there doing. Let's go ahead and sign up. 18 other countries, 19 if you count Saudi Arabia, want to join BRICS. But wait a minute. Let's go ahead and make it an even 20. Because guess who is expressing an interest in joining? You will never guess. I'm going to tell you this, and then I'll tell you that. Guys, go ahead, hit subscribe. Enlist, become a soldier of finance. Let me know you did so in the comments. I will salute you. Hit the join button, guys. Go ahead and see what we have to offer in our members only section, the Officers Club. You're going to absolutely love it. It's going to help you on your road to financial independence, I guarantee. Also, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. You guys do an awesome job of it. Smash that. I hate to say that. I promised myself I would never say smash that like button. Forgive me. Please, press the like button. Thank you so much. All right, guys, look, France. Emmanuel Macron, the Premier of France, is expressing an interest in having his country join the BRICS. Okay? This is huge for quite a few reasons that we'll go into here. Now, the French president would be the first Western leader to sit in on the gathering of emerging economies as Emmanuel Macron meets with Cyril Ramaphosa on the sideline of the COP27 climate summit and reportedly ask him if he can be invited to a meeting of the BRICS. French President Emmanuel Macron has asked South African President Cyril Ramaphosa for an invitation to the upcoming BRICS summit in Pretoria. French newspaper L'Opinion reported on Monday. All right, so just an aside about that meeting. They're actually considering changing the location from South Africa to China because South Africa is party to an agreement that says that they have to cooperate on international arrest warrants, and Vladimir Putin has an international arrest warrant issued against him. Now, taking this guy into custody would probably spark a widening of the conflict, but I just wanted to mention that they're talking about this meeting that's scheduled in South Africa for the BRICS. But Ramaphosa has actually talked to China and said we may want to change the location to China because China is not a party to that agreement. So we'll see what happens with that. But in the meantime, Macron is saying, hey, I don't care where you meet. I want to meet with you. I want to be there. Macron's recent attempts to win over his African counterparts have not gone over so well. And you know why they haven't gone over well? Because South Africa is probably trying to figure out what the hell is going on here now. You know, France left NATO at one point, but they're a NATO member again. Okay, they're a G7 member. Now, France is having some difficulties with its economy. Yes, that is true. But what is France doing? Now, Emmanuel Macron had, and we reported on this, had gone over to China, met with Xi Jinping, and discussed actually a lot more economic cooperation, okay, even to the point of questioning the dominance of the U.S. dollar. This is from the French president, okay, with allies like this, right? But I think that even the allies are sensing that there is blood in the water here and that the U.S. is going to be one of a few players. We're losing that superpower status, okay, because, yeah, we got one hell of a military, but we can't just go around the world declaring war on people we don't like, right? That's becoming less and less of an alternative. And look, let's be honest. The U.S. military does an awesome job. But who has since, I would say, Korea, Since then, who has the U.S. went up against? Okay, and why have they went up against them? Now, we've been told weapons of mass destruction. We've been told we got to fight the communists. We've been told, we got to, I don't know, what did they say in the first Gulf War? It was just a lot of patriotism at that time. Whitney Houston did what I believe was the absolute greatest rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner at the Super Bowl. It was just a lot of patriotism. And I was younger then, but as I recall, America was just like, we haven't had a war in a while. Let's do it. Okay. And, Saddam was over there. And although we had befriended Saddam against the Iranians, everybody seemed to forget about that. And, we had to do what we had to do, right? So we got France saying, we want to diversify. The United States says diversity is our strength, right? But at the same time, South Africa is saying, I don't know about that, man. You're in with those guys. You sitting over there at their table forever. And now you're coming over here? What's up with that? Macron raised the possibility of attending the summit during a phone call with Ramaphosa earlier in the month of June, L'Opinion stated, citing sources in the Elysee Palace. I hope I pronounced that right. Monsieur Wolford was my French teacher back in middle school, and I didn't do well in French. I apologize. The only thing I learned was "Fermez les bouches," "Fermez les brown bouches," which I believe means shut up. Mr. Wolford was always saying that. Macron raised that possibility in the phone call, and this is according to the publication over there. According to one, quote, well-informed, unquote, source, Ramaphosa was non-committal. Of course he was. This is not something that he's going to just say, hey, yeah, come on over. No, there's a B, an R, an I, and a C in this. And I'm sure he needs to consult with them prior to just, having this weird guy come over that's not a part of the club, right? Presence at this summit was mentioned during the conversation between the two leaders, but Pretoria, capital of South Africa, gave no indication of whether or not to extend this meeting to other international leaders. If Macron were to attend the summit, he would be the first leader of a G7 nation to do so. Speaking of the G7, do you think they're going to invite or allow some other country that's not in the G7 to come, Mbupa Mau Mau? Let's be serious. How about Djibouti? Djibouti calls up and says, hey, we'd like to come in that G7 meeting. We think we could learn a lot. You think that's happening? BRICS leaders and Macron apparently share a desire to overhaul the global financial and geopolitical order, with Macron hosting a conference in Paris next week aimed at overhauling the financial system to better benefit the developing world. Now, when he says better benefit the developing world, I think he's being very prudent and very savvy, because the developing world is going to be a source of intense investment growth as we head into the mid part of the 21st century. For the life of me, I cannot imagine why America, I have some inkling, America really missed a golden opportunity to cooperatively work with Africa, okay, and to help develop mutual development. They missed a golden opportunity. It's gone now, okay? The trust is gone. China's moving in. It looks like, Macron is trying to, work his way, as he said, back into the developing world. Ramaphosa is due to attend the conference, and a cordial meeting between him and Macron could set the stage for the French president to make history in Pretoria. Now, the conference that they're talking about is this, earlier one that I mentioned. This is not the BRICS conference. They're going to another conference where they may, get a chance to meet and discuss this further. Who knows? May bump into Xi Jinping, and he may say, let me think about it. Putin may say, yeah, let him come on over. Let's cleave him away. And Macron is also trying to figure out ways to keep that French economy growing. key African economy is going, well, okay. So if Macron were to attend and they have this meeting, that would be really earth-shattering. Macron has asserted that Europe must not follow the U.S. into a confrontation with China and has opposed the opening of a controversial NATO liaison office in Japan. However, he did sign a joint communique with other G7 leaders last month labeling China, quote, the greatest challenge to global security and prosperity in our time, unquote. And I bet you there was a lot of consternation and debate around changing one word in that from threat to challenge. I can bet you $1 to a donut that statement initially said the greatest threat to global security, and that it softened it up, changed it to challenge. Meanwhile, in Africa, Macron's condemnations of Russia have irritated France's former colonies on the continent, who see Russia as a more reliable partner than their former master. Since the term was first coined in 2001, BRICS has grown from an acronym into an informal alliance that has overtaken the G7 in its share of global GDP. That's right. It has its own development bank. We talked about that, right? You know, they're going to say, hey, we don't necessarily need the World Bank or the IMF. We can pivot away from that. We talked in the last report about how Iran's version of SWIFT will be used for several Asian countries. So more and more things are moving away from dollar hegemony. And let's see, Saudi Arabia is also joining, and they've got a lot of oil. So that lends credence to them possibly setting up some type of commodities-backed currency. Okay. We shall see what the future holds. I'll tell you what holds. This is a very exciting time. Okay. Don't know what's going to happen, but very, very exciting times. Now, we did a report on China and its plans to control the global silver market. Right now, London, the West, okay, controls this market. China believes, like I believe, and many others believe, that there's a lot of manipulation in that market and it's suppressing the price of silver. China, wait until you see what price they think silver should be and compare it to what it is right now, which is hovering around $20, okay? Wait until you see what China thinks the real price of silver should be, and they're working to try to control that market. Would that be good for you? Check out the video, guys. I'll talk to you soon.